To lay all of your hard-earned efforts into, working on yourself just to hopefully be an idealization, like that's a sad life. That's sad. You will never be an idealization because that idealization is a pinnacle and it's not multi-dimensional. It's not omnidirectional either. It's just this 2D bland example of what people think a woman is. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Iman, and today I'm going to be exploring a little bit about the high value woman. I'm going to be talking mainly about where it came from, the conceptual underpinnings that make up this micro trend, and really evaluate whether it's beneficial for us. Yeah, we'll just get straight into it. What is a high value woman? So like what I always do in my deepest and darkest moments, where do we turn to? Reddit, that's right, let's go. Now, scoping Reddit, I saw there was a general confusion surrounding what a high value woman is. Some posts were women asking for the male perspective, whereas sometimes it was just males talking between themselves about what they classify as high value.
Whatever that means.
There's even whole threads about dealing with high value women, which sparked my interest only due to its pejorative insinuations. Now the conclusion for me is that men and women in these discussion threads were only operating in the aspiration of satisfying the idealization of what a woman really is. Sorry, that wasn't what I was meant to say. What I was meant to say is that mostly men and women in these discussion threads were only operating in the aspiration of their ideal woman. Think wifey material. The high value woman was popularized in the early 2000s era. Think Gossip Girl. Think those girls that kind of had it all. They were picturesque. They were smart, beautiful, socially versed, and just this well-encapsulated ideal of the perfect woman, the it girl. Now you're probably wondering why I'm comparing two female archetypes that seem fundamentally oppositional in nature. It's because they're both representatives of the pinnacle of aspirational identity. Men love these women and women want to be these women. High value men in itself, that began around the 2018 era, and that was an opportunity for men to advance themselves and encourage younger boys to look up to something, get rich, get successful, etc. And in some sense also express their dream ideal partner. I think this is where high value woman was coined of. This new little niche in itself was advocating for a new way to behave. It hopes to, potentially appeal to the high value men. The red pill community in itself was quite necessary at the time for men because they had just come from the 2016 era of gender politics, which had completely exhausted both men and women. Politics was in the air, permeating through pop culture at this time. There was the first female president-elect of America and the growth of this effervescent female passion that emerged socially. Female power was truly at its peak. There was clear disapproval and an extensive criticism of gender roles. Hell, Taylor Swift even got bullied for not getting political.
Bruh.
In saying this, I believed that this was the catalyst for the soft girl era, the high value woman era. Men and women at that point were trying to find fulfillment, purpose, and enlightenment, and direction in some aspects. The high value woman didn't seem to really come into play till probably a couple years later. It was the female version of advancement in various aspects of life, the soft girl life, letting men do absolutely everything for you. But it really was this imagistic, symbiotic relationship between this ideal man and this ideal woman. And why is it so popular? Femininity has always been a cultural currency, and it's always been something to market off. It's such an expansive culture in itself that it's easy to nitpick certain aspects of it and completely find new ways to market it. A lot of people look at it from the lens of self-advancement, self-help. Other people look at it as a way to expand your opportunities in the sexual marketplace, finding a high-value potential partner. The nature of this high-value woman is relatively based on disparaging other women. There is an element of disparity to it. If I'm high value, then there is people that are low value. At the end of the day, that's such a basic metric, and to chuck that on a set of people is just wild because people are so much more complicated. I think it is purely just a micro trend used to rob you of your time and just get you to worry about things that you otherwise wouldn't have been worried about. We need to reframe, I guess, in that sense, value, because yeah, we're not considered more valuable based on a subset of characteristics or traits or the way you look. I think it's wild that we're letting this type of marketing scheme kind of run us. Because all it does is it just finds a way to funnel women into this one thing, and if you don't fit that box, well then that's your problem and not mine.
That's suspicious.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's weird.
Now, what does everyone else have to say about this?
There are so many women, girls, teaching young women to be stupid. They're basically labeling stupid or being an idiot as high value women when it's just not high value, okay? It is not a smart way to live, it is not a smart way to date, it is not a smart way to be.
Spoiler alert, there is no good way to engage within this high value woman or high value man community. This community does not send a good message to young impressionable minds, and also is just tainted with a bunch of stupid and just honestly, yeah, I'm gonna say stupid. It's tainted with a lot of stupid advice from these people.
Not until a couple minutes later where I find more profound realizations of people actively criticizing this phenomenon. Some people being extremely exhausted by this trope, and others claiming that it's just rhetoric that terminally online dudes use. I think the term high value in itself is good. I think when you kind of add gender ideologies to it, it just takes away from what it's supposed to mean. You should be striving to become high value. And there's a lot of factors that entail what it may mean to be high valued. That's a whole other thing in itself. But you know, competence, integrity, things that are not specific to gender but are just traits that we should try and strive towards adopting into our everyday lives. I think that term, high value, in that sense is yes. Ultimately, the result of you adopting these traits into your life will produce the outcome of you being high value, because you'll be easy to work with, you will be honest, you'll lead your life and people with integrity, you'll be reliable, so you're just overall higher value in the community. So I think in that sense the term for me makes sense, and I can align with that much better than what, let's say, the manosphere, the red pill community have kind of allowed this thing to coalesce into. Like, I just think that it's not what it says it is, and I don't think we need to develop a negative connotation with the literal terms of what it means to be high value. I just think that we need to chuck out what we've been told as of the last few years, and you're going to be different values to different men, provided on what they want at that time that they want it. You can have a man that sees you as low value only because you are not doing or acting in accordance to the way he would want, and then you know, you can walk down the street and another man will see you as high value for doing the exact same thing. And this translates across to men as well. Ultimately, you know, partnerships are negotiation. It's grappling, it's challenge. To lay all of your hard-earned efforts into, you know, working on yourself just to hopefully be an idealization, like that's a sad life. That's sad. You will never be an idealization, because that idealization is a pinnacle and it's not multi-dimensional. It's not omnidirectional either. It's just this 2D bland example of what people think a woman is. So yeah, that's just me adding my 2 cents now while I'm editing. Ultimately, what were my conclusions? I don't think I'll ever remember whether I was high value or low value when I'm dying on my bed. I don't think I will think about that. I'll think about how many times my heart was touched by someone, how many times I touched other people's hearts, and everyone and anyone can teach you a lesson, and anyone and everyone can move your heart. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, aim to just lead with compassion and empathy. Chuck all the ideologies that actually have no fundamental truths to them, chuck them out the fucking window. Adopt ones that have a long-lasting legacy. We need to try and reframe value for ourselves again. In this era nowadays, it's all about aesthetics. It's all about how you look. And I just think that if we can reframe ourselves to prioritize intelligence, to prioritize curiosity towards learning, and prioritize imagination, being imaginative, that's a better subset of traits to kind of focus on in terms of value. Thanks for watching my video today, guys. I talked a little bit about, sussing out the whole high value woman era and whether it's something that we necessarily kind of adopt or whether it's something we have to chuck out. And ultimately I explored what the conclusions were for me. Now, if you've liked this video, please make sure you give it a like, make sure you give it a comment. Feel free to share, but other than that, I will see you in my next video, and yeah, thanks for staying true this far. Bye.
Thoughts, this sword setting out to